Hey everyone, welcome to the Aether Revolt set review for Black. Today we're going to be going through all of our Black cards. Obviously the best color, so looking forward to getting into that one. To help me talk about these cards, got my two good friends. We have Aaron.
Hey guys, good to be back.
Welcome Aaron. How you feeling about going for Black?
Uh, Notoriously my favorite color. I like making my opponents very sad, and black helps me accomplish that.
God, you guys
Excellent.
suck.
And on the other side we have Anthony, who's the anti-Black.
Yeah, get out of here, blackguards. How you going?
Let's roll straight in with our first one, Aether Poisoner. So this is again our Aether something cycle in common. It's a 2-mana 1/1 with Death Touch, so already playable in Limited just for those stats. In addition, you also get 2 energy when it enters, and when it attacks you can pay that energy and get a servo. I would be ignoring most of that text and just playing this as a Death Touch rat. Typically quite good because you can get a few points of damage in early, but it also holds back your opponent's biggest creature on the ground, so decent common to play in your black decks.
Yeah, so far out of the
Yeah.
ones we've seen, I like this one. I think this is really good.
Good card.
Yeah, Death Touch is always scary.
So yeah, pick it, play it.
Yep.
Next up,
Ali Strangler. Jeez, that's a bit dark, isn't it? Look at him. He's ready to get him with the chain. 2 and a black for a 2/3 with menace. Pretty boring for a strangler. Like that's.
I just
It feels like it should be
Sorry,
killing
go
something or making something less power or something. I don't know. Flavor wise, it's just very vanilla. It's very Ulrich.
a very epic name for a very common card. But
yeah, I mean,
I have to
Menace
say-
is quite good.
uh,
Yeah, but it's
another Aetherborn, we explored them in the previous set. A very cool race, new race basically, and absolutely I love the art. Sort of similar to Theros, I think it was. I really like the dark colors with all the gold that they've been using. It's just like makes for some really nice art.
yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff around this card, just not a whole lot in the actual relevant text box. So, oh well.
Yep.
Pick it. You play it if you need a 3-drop, but yeah,
Yeah, not exciting.
interesting. Our next card is a bit more exciting. This is
Whoa.
Battle at the Bridge. This is a spotlight card. It is X black for a sorcery, and target creature gets neg X until end of turn, and you gain X life. It also has Improvise, so you can help your artifacts can help pay that X cost and make it a bit bigger. Since this is Tezzeret having some kind of a battle at the bridge, we haven't heard that story yet, I don't believe, but we'll find out how that all goes down with Tezzeret and the Gatewatch. This is a really good card in both Limited and probably Standard. It's a good removal spell. It's scalable. Important point from a rules perspective is if the creature that you are targeting is no longer there when the spell goes to resolve, you also don't gain the life. So the whole spell gets countered and you don't gain any life if your target is no longer a legal target. But yeah, good
So
card.
it can be a benefit if someone targets one of your dudes with this to sacrifice him for the greater good.
Yep.
But
Happy to play this one, Anthony?
Oh yeah, you'll always play this. This is a removal spell. It's like
No.
Deathwind, but yeah, it's got upside, I think.
yeah, Deathwind was. I remember Deathwind being really good.
Yeah, I think that was an
Again,
instant,
awesome,
but this,
awesome art.
yeah, there's just a kill spell that's gonna get
Instant
something.
gave you a lot more flexibility with Deathwind because you could play it in mid-combat to shrink a creature and still kill it.
Yeah,
This one you can't do that, but
Yeah.
it's still going to be really good.
yeah. It's kind of fireball-esque
Yeah,
for
what-
the creatures.
Your opponent sees this in game one, and then they know in game two that at some point there can be this huge life swing, and that can really that can impact the game pretty well. I love life gain effects in black, and Tezzeret looks like a total badass.
Yeah, he does.
All right.
All right,
Cruel Finality.
this is so dark
2
too.
in a black, instant. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn, and scry 1. So
This card's so good.
Just seems like this will be a really nice removal spell for black limited. I know there's a lot of big cards in the set. Like, does that impact this? Like, I don't know sort of what the ratio of vehicles is because I didn't play too much limited in the previous set.
There are a lot of big creatures, but -2/-2 is, I think, good enough generally to swing at combat. And I don't think there are many combat tricks. There are some good ones in each color, but there aren't a lot of them. And there's going to be less, I think, after this set comes out. I just want to make a point about this art. This art is crazy. Like, it's so dark, and the red that's coming off, and you can see on the bricks on the side, that's like a blood stain, right? So she's already like cut his neck, right?
It's looking like
spray.
That's gross.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
Gonna look out for that one in foil. That's gonna look very nice. With all
Yeah.
the shiny red bits.
Yeah.
Another card that probably look good in foil here is Daring Demolition.
Oh yeah.
It's 2 black for a sorcery, and it just kills a thing. Destroy target creature or vehicle, and this is your very straightforward black, slightly expensive removal spell. But because it just kills something, you're gonna pick it and you're gonna play it.
So hot in here right now. Unconditional removal. Put me in.
Yeah, this card's so good.
I'm ready.
This reminds me of Battle for Zendikar, where there was 2 unconditional removals at common, and they were just first picked all the time. This, I think, is going to be the same.
Sorcery hurts, but like 4 mana, totally not a big deal. Like if you've got already some dudes in play, and you want to press your advantage, you just land your 4 mana removal spell, or you're behind on board and you need to stabilize. Daring Demolition.
Yeah,
it's Oblivion Strike. Oblivion Strike was the sorcery.
Exile.
It was 1 black instead of 2 black, so 3 and a black to exile. So, and that was always played. It's just kill stuff.
Just take them early, play them. The card's awesome. Yeah.
A reason that black is just the best color. They obviously have the best removal.
They've got it too easy. Defiant Salvager. 2 and a black for a 2/2 Aetherborn Artificer. Sacrifice an artifact or a creature. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Activate this ability at sorcery speed.
This is a really good card until that last sentence.
I think maybe even then.
It's still good.
I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. It seems good. I mean, you can always. There's always a point in time where it's, like some cards become outclassed. Like your servos are good as chump blockers, but that's not always what you want them for. And this can be pretty scary. Obviously, it's much better if you can attack and do it, because then your opponent just gets all kinds of ruined. But I mean, they're not going to put Arcbound Ravager in standard.
It's just that this card, because it has a sorcery, you can't do things like chump block and sack to get a counter. It triggers your Revolt, which is nice, but the sorcery speed is really big killer on this ability. It would be, I mean, it's a common, so you expect that. You'd probably have to bump it up to an uncommon at least if it wasn't. But this is not as good as it would first appear when you read that ability. Yeah,
it's a common filler, I think. And if you've got some synergy or something, you'll be really happy. And it's an artificer, of course.
Yep.
Here we go.
Fatal Push. This card is huge.
This card's very good.
So let's tell you what it does, and then we'll talk about why it's incredible. Fatal Push is 1 black for an instant. Destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less, and it has a Revolt trigger, so you can destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less. Instead, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. So, starting at the bottom, limited, decent, acceptable card to play. It'll kill a few things, but not particularly interesting. Standard, pretty big deal. It's starting to get there. You're able to kill basically everything out of red-white vehicles. You get to kill Smuggler's Copter at instant speed, and ignoring the Revolt trigger, you're killing Smuggler's Copter, you're killing the Veteran Motorist, and you're killing... You're also killing Grimflayer on the green-black Delirium side. But where this card really gets interesting is Modern, because you have fetch lands. And that means you can kill everything up to 4 converted mana cost almost all the time. This is 1 mana kill a 4 CMC thing. It kills all the Delver, it kills Death Shadow, Goblin Guide, everything out of Naya Zoo. This is going to really change Modern.
Question about that. Are there any 5 CMC creatures or higher in Modern? At all?
if there's like Thragtusk, a couple of decks might play Thragtusk, but 4 is pretty much the cap.
Yeah.
Like you've got Collected Company, which is playing your Siege Rhinos and that sort of thing. So this basically kills every creature that is commonly played in Modern.
Yeah.
If you have a fetch land in play.
This is 1 black, destroy target creature.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And as I said, Modern has been really pushing towards a really creature-heavy, a lot of aggressive decks with Zoo and Affinity and Death Shadow and that sort of stuff. And this just kills all of it.
That's so good. Yeah, can't speak highly enough.
Kills everything in Infect.
Yeah.
Great card. Love it.
Limited, though. I'm not too high on this card, to be honest. I wouldn't be picking it very highly.
That's fair. And it doesn't kill as much interesting things in Limited.
Yeah, you really need that Revolt trigger, and even then you're not killing the bombs with this card, and you just have to be aware of that. I'd take the 4 mana one that we just saw, the Demolition. Can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I'd be taking that over this.
I'd be taking Cruel Finality over this, the 3 mana neg 2.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on. Fen Hauler, 7 for an insect. 6 and a black for a 5/5. It has Improvise, of course. And it can't be blocked by artifact creatures. So the servos can't get in the way.
It's a giant thing.
Yeah, unexciting.
It's pretty boring filler common.
Yeah.
You play it if you have to.
No, I won't be playing that. Foundry Hornet. Oh my god, there's a Hornet in this set. Sick.
There is an insect.
Foundry Hornet, 3 and a black. 2/3. I might have to get on the black train. For a 2/3 flyer, I like that. When it enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with a +1/+1 counter on it, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Yeah, it's kind of okay, I guess. It's got its place.
I mean, I guess in terms of things that I can imagine you doing, I guess maybe like you could do like a funny like Nissa deck, and you sideboard in Foundry Hornet and just like shrink all your opponent's dudes, and just beat them up with all your +1/+1 counters. That would be kind of cool, but very gimmicky and maybe not very good. It doesn't look like it'd be a big body, the standard.
No, this is definitely a limited card. But this is actually going to be quite easy to activate, because if we remember from Kaladesh, green-black +1/+1 counters is the theme across there. So this is my favorite color combinations: rock, green, black. So this is fitting right into that deck. It's a role player in that deck. 2/3 flyer for 4 is fine, and shrinking all of your opponent's servos to die is going to be a pretty big deal. But yes, because you have to remember you've got Fabricate from the previous set.
Yeah.
Good point.
So this goes right into the Pima Outrider deck, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But you probably don't want to be picking this.
Not highly, no.
I guess.
No, not
I guess you kind of, because you draft Aether Revolt and then Kaladesh.
Yeah.
So this is coming before the Fabricate cards. You need to be aware of that, but don't.
You will know that
pick
you're in a
this-
counters deck first.
Yeah,
don't
pick it up
pick
on the
this
wheel
just
and
sort of expect the wheel exactly.
all right. 4th Bridge Prowler. Okay. 1 black mana for a 1/1 human rogue. When it enters the battlefield, you may have target creature get -1/-1 until end of turn. We've seen this before.
What happened to the other 3 bridges?
Yeah.
Well, this is the one that the 4th Bridge Guard, the little 1/1, was hanging around. So he actually kills. I think there's possibly a flavor connection there.
I thought it was
4th
9th.
Bridge Patrol.
I thought it was 9th Bridge Patrol.
The 9th Bridge Patrol.
yeah.
Okay, maybe they're not connected.
Yeah.
So the bridges go up to 9 apparently, at least.
I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but I think it's 9.
Bad limited card.
Yeah, no, I don't like this at all, unless they have a lot of X1s you sighted in or something like that, but don't be looking to pick this early or playing it often.
Yeah, well, I mean, if your opponent's playing the aggressive white deck and they've actually got like the 2 mana 3 ones and then a lot of stuff like that,
You could side it in.
maybe really go up the board and really annoy your opponent.
Yeah.
I would maybe side it in against that specifically, but that's probably about it.
Yeah. Anyway, a much
Ooh, hello.
better card. Yeah, there you go. This is all up your alley, so go for it.
Gifted Aetherborn. Double black. That's what I like to see. None of this silly generic mana. Death Touch Lifelink. 2/3. So, if I'm not mistaken, this card is actually Vampire Warhawk, I guess we could call it, because it doesn't fly.
All right, it's been dubbed Warhawk.
Okay.
It's even got a bit of a
Because
beak
he's
there.
got a bird mask on.
Vampire.
So-
And it's a vampire.
Bad.
You just like you just take this in limited.
Yeah.
Like we already discussed, Death Touch is so unbelievably annoying to deal with. It's like you have to get rid of it, so you try and make decisions so that your opponent will actually block with it, and then they don't, and then you've attacked, and now they attack you, and it goes all wrong, and it's got lifelink, and now you're in a really bad situation because your opponent is just trading better than you, and it's a 2/3, so it can't be shocked.
Excellent
Noted.
card.
Card's great. Pick it high. Play it.
Ticks all the right boxes.
The Glint Sleeve Siphoner is a rare. It's our 1 black for a 2/1 with Menace. Not too bad. When it attacks, so it enters the battlefield or attacks, you get a 1 energy, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay black. If you do, draw a card and you lose a life. So you get sort of an option to have a Phyrexian Arena type effect in your upkeep if you can pay 2 energy. And being that it has Menace, if you get this down early, it's going to be able to get in and attack a few times before your opponent can functionally block it. So you should be able to build up a couple of energy. This card also works really well with an uncommon up next, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. So
Also,
yeah, I think this could go quite well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think this is a good.
Fact,
Does
we could
save
just
up
go
energy,
to the next
so
Yeah, let's push on, so we can talk about it all.
So if we have a look at Gonti's Machinations, this is 1 black for an enchantment. Whenever you lose life the first time each turn, you get an energy. You can pay 2 energy to drain each opponent for 3 life, which is okay. But if you consider these two together, every turn you lose a life, draw a card, get an energy, it attacks. You keep just going through that cycle. So you kind of get a Phyrexian Arena for the same kind of cost.
On 2 cards.
But I like them. I think they're good cards, and I would probably
yeah, I
want
think
to
it
play
seems.
this in limited. Don't seem to be able
Yeah,
to hear Aaron
sounds
very
good.
much.
You right there, Aaron?
Can't hear me?
No, I got you now.
Yeah,
Got
it's
you.
back.
Clear. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I like them. I mean, do you think the Menace guy will get any standard play? Or is he...
Not unless
or
there's
is-
a really aggressive black deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There might be with some of the cards that
I
have come.
suppose Painseer never really got play, and Painseer was a guaranteed draw every turn, but also lost you more life.
All right.
Alright.
Here's what you want to open in your sealed decks. Herald of Anguish. 5 black for a 5/5 flying demon that has improvise, so it doesn't really cost 7. And at the beginning of your end step, each opponent discards a card. And if that wasn't enough, 1 and a black, sacrifice an artifact. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. So you can sack off those artifacts that you tap to just shrink down your opponent's team. This card is unbelievable.
Oh, it's just all bomb. I mean, gone are the days when demons actually had a downside for casting them, which I think is a bit of a flavor fail. If you summon a demon, there should be some negative impact. You kind of have to go back to Theros to find negative demons, like Master of the Feast. But yeah, this guy is just huge, destructive. It says each opponent, so anytime you see each opponent, you should be thinking 2-headed giant. So both opponents have to discard a card. And there's a couple more in black that have each opponent.
That's absurd.
Gigantic bomb mythic.
Yeah.
Love it. Won't see play
Yeah.
anywhere outside of limited, but awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna really
Uh,
push your opponent. Just push your opponent out of the game.
yeah. Cards. Great. Ironclad Revolutionary. 4 black for an Aetherborn Artificer 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and each opponent loses 2 life.
So this is really good card. Again, each opponent, as I mentioned a moment ago, each opponent is really important here, because that can be 4 life in a 2-headed giant game. And this is most likely going to be a 6-mana 6/6 that takes 2 life off your opponent as well. You can sacrifice the implements and draw a card and that sort of stuff. So, which again, we'll see the implements a little bit later on.
Yep. Okay. So it looks it's one of those ones. If you need a high end, you'll play it. So it's fine.
Good uncommon finisher.
All right.
Tell us about the Aetherborn rogue here, Aaron.
So we have here Midnight Entourage. Again, bringing back the gold and black art, which I love. So it's 4 mana, 2 black black. Aetherborn Rogue is a 3/3. Other Aetherborn you control get +1/+1. Alright, so that's cool. We now have an Aetherborn Lord. That's actually pretty exciting. And whenever Midnight Entourage or another Aetherborn you control dies, you draw a card and lose 1 life. It's a 3/3. So I'm not 100% sure how many Aetherborn there are.
There are
but
some good ones.
Seems pretty cool. A lot of the black cards are Aetherborn. It's maybe not a high pick, but you might want to look at picking this up for limited. If you've got some like 2 and 3 drop Aetherborn, this could maybe just give you a nice curve, push you across the line, give you a bit of card advantage.
Yeah,
But it doesn't seem crazy powerful.
yeah, even
It's a good
itself, when it dies, you get a card out of it. So it's just a good card by itself, and it's just going to help you in your black decks with your random Aetherborn creatures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The fact that it replaces itself is probably the biggest one. The fact that it's just a hill giant that also replaces itself, which is great.
Yeah.
And then other upsides are bonuses.
Yeah, I mean maybe there's like a fun Friday night standard deck that you could play. Where you just sort of play a
Mono black Aetherborn.
Aetherborn, like the old Minotaur deck from Theros. Just play like an Aetherborn deck
Yeah,
with a
that's cool.
vampire Warhawk with +1/+1.
Yeah, that seems pretty
Seems
cool.
good.
All right, next one. We had the Night Market Lookout before, and now we've got the Night Market Aeronaut. 3 and a black for an Aetherborn Warrior, which is a 2/2 flyer, and it has a Revolt trigger. When it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter if a permanent left the battlefield this turn. Permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. So it's a 2/2 that can become a 3/3 sometimes. I don't like this card very much.
I think of the Revolt triggers, these are probably the ones you're more likely to get because black does have a few sack outlets and that sort of thing. But even so, a 3/3 flyer for 4 is not that big of an upside. So,
Yeah,
unless
it's
you really
fine.
want a 4-drop.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. A 2/2 for 4 is just not very good, so yeah. Perilous Predicament. Wow.
This is a pretty sweet removal spell. It's a 5 mana instant, and each opponent, sacrifices an artifact creature and a non-artifact creature. So at the very least, you're getting a Diabolic Edict for 5, which is not particularly good. But the fact that you can get an artifact and a non-artifact, which means they can't sacrifice servos away. They can sacrifice 1 servo, but they have to sack a real card.
Yeah. And the other thing is each opponent, again, in 2HG, this is going to be huge, I think.
It's an instant.
Yeah, an instant.
Yeah, nice removal spell.
Yeah, pretty cool.
We can see they're about to get crushed by what I can imagine is one of the P spots.
Yeah.
P spots, yes. I think I probably still prefer the Daring Demolition, the 4 mana just killer thing over this guy.
Yeah, definitely. Because you target it, you get to choose what's going on, so yeah. Ooh, this is pretty cool art. Renegade's Getaway. 2 and a black for an instant. Target permanent gains indestructible until end of turn. Create a servo.
Unfortunately, cool art is about where the interesting part of this card stops.
Yeah, it's not great at all, really. Sad.
It just doesn't pump. If it had any pump toughness, pump power, it might be worth playing, but it's just not enough. Indestructible, not good enough.
And a servo, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you play it if you've got something that's like the linchpin for your deck, and you know your opponent's likely to sideboard in a naturalize, and maybe you play this to try and save the day. But yeah, it's probably that is the outside circumstance. Otherwise, again, yeah,
try not to play
black.
it.
Really doing well with the color contrasting. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, beautiful art. Resourceful Return. 1 and a black for a sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand if you control an artifact, draw a card. So that could be pretty good in some decks. Drawing a card
That's
and getting something back
neat.
from your graveyard. Yeah.
Got to feel good to
Black
play.
decks generally want to have artifacts around. They have a few different ways to play with artifacts, so I would be happy to run one of these. I'm not super stoked. It's not the most exciting thing ever, but yeah, I'll put it in my black deck.
Yeah, and we've seen this
I love
before.
the,
We know when it does well.
I like the flavor text there actually. It's pretty reminiscent of how I imagine the players feel. When the salvage team brought in the shattered Gear Hulk, a wave of excitement swept through the Radiate Foundry. So I imagine if you're getting
Yes.
back to Gear Hulks with this, you're probably in high spirits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets back. Does say get return type creatures. You can get back vehicles as well, which is sweet. And yeah, I mean it's only 2 mana. It's not really that
Cannot
much of an
return a
investment.
vehicle.
Cannot.
Sorry, just to jump in. You cannot return a vehicle because vehicles are not creatures in the graveyard. They're only creatures
Okay.
after they've been crewed. So don't try and get a
Okay,
vehicle
well,
back with this.
Yeah, bloody hell,
Don't
Aaron.
If
listen
you
to me
control a vehicle, yeah, draw a card.
Oh, that's cool. Still, I like it.
Alright. Oh, this
It's a
art's
silly
cool
card.
as well. I haven't read this one. What is this one?
Salvage.
So this is Secret Salvage. It's a 5 mana sorcery, so 3 black black. You get to exile target non-land card from your graveyard, which seems terrible. What it does is it then searches your library for any number of cards with the same name, reveal them, and put them into your hand. So once some important component of your deck has died in your combo deck, you can use this to go and get all the other copies of it and put them into your hand. So,
I don't
but
like
this
kind of
is
thing.
this is such a niche effect. You're never playing this in limited for one, and maybe there's a place for this in some wacky combo or standard deck, but
Nah,
I'm not
garbage.
going to be the one to make it. It's
No.
awful.
Garbage. Let's go into something better.
Tear it in half.
All right, I'll start building a deck for it right away. Then.
Sly
Exactly.
I can't say that word.
Requisitioner.
Requisitioner. That's it.
Yeah. 5 mana 2/2 with improvise, so
Mm.
body is not good, so its effect better be. Whenever a non-token artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you get to create a 1/1 colored servo artifact creature token. It's an okay effect. You're pretty limited in the number of non-token artifacts you can have. I suppose it's nice with the sacrifice artifacts that we'll come to later, and the puzzle knots last set. That's not really a high power combo.
Yeah, and it just doesn't do enough by itself, I don't think. A 2/2 for
Yeah.
5 mana is just not enough of a presence.
If you maybe have something like the Marionette Master, but even then, there's like, you draft this first, there's no way to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just probably not very good.
It's fine. It has improvise, so it's not going to cost you 5 most of the time. But and as I said earlier, black does like to sacrifice artifacts, so this has a place in a very synergistic limited deck. But you're going to have to sort of get lucky and draft that very synergistic focused deck.
You should be able to pick this lady up late in a draft anyway, because it's going to one place, and you're probably going to be the only drafter after it. So, yeah.
Vengeful Rebel, on the other hand, a little bit more useful, I would think. So this is quite similar to one of the white cards we looked at earlier. It's a 3 mana 3/2, and when it enters the battlefield, if you get your Revolt trigger, permanent leaving the battlefield this turn, a creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3. So as I said, similar to the white Assassinator earlier, if you get the Revolt trigger, you can try and kill something of your opponents, but possibly a bit easier to set up because black is better at sacrificing things and getting things off the battlefield of your own. And that -3/-3 is a little bit easier to use other than a tapped creature your opponent controls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I like this one a lot
Seems
more.
actually good.
Yeah, you should definitely be suspicious if your opponent swings a servo into your 4/4.
Yeah.
Because this is what's coming next.
Yeah. Alright, that's a good one. Ooh, here's one of the new characters from this set. Yeheni, Undying
awesome.
Partisan. Legendary creature, Aetherborn Vampire. It is a 2/2 with haste. When a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Yeheni. Sacrifice another creature, gains indestructible until end of turn. So, this is pretty cool.
It fits nicely into Yeheni's story. She's one of the first Aetherborn to figure out that they can sort of just drain life out of other people. But Yeheni is sort of nice about it, whereas some of the Aetherborn will just do it to anyone. Yeheni only does it to people who were trying to hurt her or hurt her friends and that sort of thing. So
Okay.
they were trying to kill her, then she'll kill them and take their life for herself. So that's where
Oh,
that sort of
good.
creature an opponent controls dies, she gets stronger. Sort of built into the flavor.
Yeah. This reminds
So
me a
she's
lot
a
of.
murderer with the soul.
Sort of, yeah. And she's working with
Yeah.
Chandra and Nissa.
Yeah. So it reminds me a lot of what was it? Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. Obviously, it doesn't fly, but the effects are almost identical. And actually, no, it's not. It's when a creature an opponent control dies.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay, so it's not as good as I thought, but you're playing black. Your opponent's creature is going to die, and this thing will get bigger.
And if you're looking at that black aggressive deck, I think we mentioned a little bit earlier, this is certainly going to be one of the cards heading that up.
Yeah.
3-mana 2/2 haste.
Yeah, look,
Yeah,
really
and
cool
we're
card.
talking about the Aetherborn deck. There is the 4-mana 3/3/1 that gives you the Lord. So I don't know, maybe that's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Super sweet card though. I actually really like this. It's awesome.
Good stuff.
All right. Your Henny's
And we
expertise.
get Yehenny's expertise. So this is the first expertise we saw. So this introduced the idea of this. You may cast a converted mana cost 3 or less from your hand. This one is a sorcery for 4 mana, 2 black. All creatures get -3/-3, and then cast a 3-mana spell from your hand for free. So this is where everyone collectively lost it as far as expertise is, because of all of the crazy things you can do by casting stuff for free. All of the sort of things that go into the Cascade decks, like I mentioned earlier with Restore Balance and Ancestral Vision. But this is also, in my opinion, the death of the Blue-White Flash Flyers deck. Every card in that deck, bar Avacyn, gets killed by this. So it just wipes the board. It doesn't kill most of the things you care about in the green-black Delirium deck. So your Grimflayer, if it has Delirium, is fine. Ishkanahar is fine. The Vampire that escapes me from Battle for Zendikar is fine. And then you get to put something like Nissa into play. Nissa, Liliana, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Liliana off this is just nuts.
Yeah. So you wipe the board, play Liliana, and then kill the Avacyn that was left over.
Yeah.
Seems good.
Yeah, this card's going to be great and fits right into the green black delirium. Yeah, as you said, just unreal. Aaron?
Seems so good. Yeah, it's just. I mean, the flavor's just all there.
You can
and
you can cast Waste Knot
it's
off this.
I can. I can also cast Yehennis off this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's our last black card. Now we're moving
my God.
into. Oh, okay. Well,
All right, tell us
Right, so
about
I have-
the intimations.
I have not read any of the stories, so I don't know if Bolus is coming back. But Anthony and I have been talking about Bolus for like the last 3 years, saying that he will come back at some point and it's going to be badass.
yeah.
And what it looks like we're looking at here is Tezzeret staring up at something that I don't know what it is. But in any case, the card, Dark Intimations, is 5 mana, so the Grixis colors, blue, black, and red, as well as 2 generic. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, then discards a card. You return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, then draw a card. So it's a super pint-sized cruel ultimatum. Very, very, very much not the same, but a cool effect nonetheless. When you cast a Bolus planeswalker spell, exile Dark Intimations from the graveyard, that planeswalker enters the battlefield with an additional loyalty counter on it. So, an extra loyalty counter, in terms of the old Bolus planeswalker, not crazy relevant considering how much loyalty he actually has and how much he needs. But maybe they're planning this for, obviously, likely the upcoming Bolus,
Yeah,
which
Amonkhet.
just makes
Amonkhet.
me go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been talking about Bolus
This
for a
would
bit.
be pretty major troll if Wizards didn't print a Bolus Planeswalker within the standard rotation of Dark Intimations. But yeah,
Well, we
a
know
good theory I've
Tezzeret's
heard.
pretty-
A good theory I've heard about it is, I think it was BBD, was the first one to post about this, is that the Bolus Planeswalker, his theory is, it will have 1 less loyalty than it needs to use its ultimate ability, and it'll be all negatives. So similar to Sarkhanel Loka, it'll all have negatives, and you will need something like Dark Intimations or another effect in order to get the biggest negative. So that's the theory, and I quite like that one. I think that's a fairly reasonable suggestion.
Yeah, but Bolas is. I think it's a cool suggestion as well. But Bolas as a character, he's always looking like when we first saw him really on Shards of Alara, he was looking at making himself bigger and better, sort of thing. Like he was looking to restore his power. It would be weird having all negative abilities. Flavor-wise, I think for him because he's so selfish and he only cares about himself getting more power. Where Sarkhan the Mad was sort of it made sense because he was degenerating. But you could look at it the other way, whereas he doesn't want to increase his loyalty to you because he doesn't care about you and he just wants to. You just uses him up and then that's it. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, this card is pretty cool. I would love it if Nicol Bolas cost 6 and you could play it the turn after. That would be so cool.
Seems pretty likely.
Yeah. And I guess if you have multiple of these, you can do it multiple times if they're in the graveyard.
Yeah, so it's not a May
So it
ability.
stacks?
They all will trigger and they will stack. So the Bolus would come in with however many additional counters equal to the number of Dark Intimations that get exiled.
Yeah. This makes me want to play Grixis. This card I want to play. Yeah, this is so cool. All right.
Yeah. Even has the Planeswalking symbol on it.
Yeah.
So Hidden Stockpile. This is a white and a black for an enchantment. It has Revolt. So at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left, you get a servo. And you can play 1 and sacrifice a creature to scry 1. So it kind of fuels itself. You sacrifice a creature, scry 1, make a servo, and keep doing that as much as you like. Plus you get a few other little Revolt bonuses. Not a bad little black-white card, and one of the good ways to enable your Revolt in those colours. I'd probably be happy to play this card.
Yeah, this could be really cool.
Yeah, black-white's pretty notorious for token-based decks.
Yeah. And grindy, it's really grindy as well. You just trade with your opponent and you get this incremental advantage even if you don't use that second ability.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're chopping as well, you can't just sack your dude and scroll on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But notice it only triggers on your turn, like the previous ones. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. And our last card, Wildfast Engineer. 1 black-red for a 3/3 human artificer. Good stats. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target artifact creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So this can help your servos get in there, I guess.
That's solid stats for red-black. Just a 3-mana 3/3. So if you're in those colours, this is a good little card.
Yeah.
And that ability is definitely going to be relevant with your servos and red-black caring a lot about artifacts and artifact creatures.
Yep.
It's pretty scary.
All right. Well, that wraps up our black cards. Join us next time, and we're going to go through the red ones. Thanks for joining me, Brett and Aaron. We'll see you next time.
Where's
See you soon.